Well, that's really good that you brought that up because I remember when I graduated TC. And now, mind you, didn't have any inkling that I would actually fulfill my commitment to doing a year long men's and women or men's discipleship program. And so I went into the program with this mindset of I'm going to do 4 months, I'm going to bounce, I'm going to become reconciled with my mom and my father, and kind of live this life of double mindedness, right? To kind of, trick them into believing that I am changed while going back to my ex at that time. Now, bless her heart, she is no longer alive, but it's very, it's hard because she wanted me so bad to continue in the relationship that her and I were in. But I knew deep within me after my relationship with the Lord that I couldn't continue to pursue such a thing because it was going to bring me back to the very same position or stage of life that I started in or ran away from, if you will. And so, man, severing ties, man, it's hard because you become attached, right? Like, though we were in our addiction, we still had feelings, right? And so, like,
Yeah.
now that I'm born again, I see this person in this situation. My thought is maybe I can save her and maybe we can have this relationship. But everything else in me was like, no, you can't.
Mm.
If she wants you, she will do the same thing that you're doing and pursue the father in the same manner. And so when I said, hey, look, if you're unwilling to do this, this isn't going to work. And she was
Yeah.
unwilling to do that. And so it never ended up working. And like I said, she ended up committing, not committing suicide, but she ended up ODing and dying. And so it's like, man, if I had went back to that, would that have been me?
Yeah.
So often at times we miss God's grace, right? Like we
Yeah.
miss and right, he's no respecter of person, right? So like I'm not like special, more special than she was, but it's like, where has God spared you?
Yeah.
Right? Like look back 5, 10, 15, whatever, months, years, whatever it may be. Look at how many opportunities you had to be taken out, but God spared you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, man. I was reflecting on that the other night as I was driving home, thinking about I'm in the process of working on this book and on I've been writing it forever and like it's taken me longer than I thought it would because like I spent a lot of time forgetting that part of my life, you know? And
Mm.
now I'm asking the Lord to allow me to remember certain situations and experiences that I went through. And I remember one particular situation, man, where my sister's boyfriend at the time, him and I were hanging out, we were using, and like I had done a bunch of meth, and I remember my heart just feeling like it was going to come out of my chest, like, and I knew what it felt like to get that rush, but this was different. And he dropped me off at the ER and rolled out, and I was in the hospital for 2 or 3 days after that. And I remember getting out and then finding out that that very next day, some people that I were going to hang out with in a hotel ended up getting busted, and all of them went off to jail. And
Mm.
like, and I was still running and fighting God, but like one small decision and that could have been me, you know, and I don't know why or how God chooses to work when he does, you know, but man, there's just been moments like that throughout life. I'm grateful, you know, I'm grateful for the opportunities to continue to serve the Lord and but that part of cutting people off, man, like it's hard to do, but man, it's so vital. And I know sometimes I feel like we get on here and we give basic advice. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I feel like it's like, oh, Justin, tell me something complicated, tell me something deep, you know, something that I can sink my teeth into. And it's like, you don't need any of that. Like get the basics down first.
Right.
And in the very least is a brand new set of friends. And you know, a lot of that
True.
was something that I did very intentionally. Like, you want to hang out? Come to church with me. You know what I'm saying? We got this group going on. We got this youth group. We've got this, we've got that. If you want to be a part of the new Justin's live, these are the standards, these are the boundaries that I've put in place. And people will just play around with that. And it's like, well, do the same thing and expect different results. That's insanity, you
Well,
know?
the thing is, Justin, let's be honest, let's be real, right? We live in a culture in a world today that people think when addressing a matter that is to redirect an individual or to help them in maturity of any level or degree, they look at it as hate.
Mm,
People don't know how to look at it as correction. And so correction sometimes comes in, or love comes sometimes in the form of correction,
right.
or boundary setting, right? It's like I love you so much that I'm unwilling to allow you to do X, Y, and Z, or even to compromise the things that I'm doing to change my life. And
Right.
so now you're looked upon as, and I think this is why the church has such a bad rap, is because people think that we hate other people. And it's like, no, dude, like we don't hate anybody, but this is how it's perceived. And so like, how do we change that that perception of others, especially when it comes to like addiction? It's like, man, like, we get labeled as these like zombie type individuals when you're struggling with some type of addiction, right? It's like, no, dude, they're human just like you are, and so
Yeah.
their struggles might be different than yours. But I think sometimes, man, it's like we don't understand the importance of loving one another. And so love, man, is often uncomfortable. And I'm learning that even in my marriage, right? Even after getting out of addiction and being married, going on 9 years now, just celebrated 8 years and having 3 children, love isn't always daisies and butterflies, right? It's not always perfect. It's not always comforting.
Yeah.
Love challenges you, it stretches you. And so, like, when you love somebody or you expect others to love you, it should challenge you as well as challenge them to move in the same direction that you're desiring to move in. And that direction should be Christ. That's why
Mm,
Paul said, follow me as I follow Christ, right? And
that's
so,
right.
like, the goal and the aim of this podcast is really to help people not only have community, that way they can flock to the same direction, right? Like, we want to see people get out of this mundane routine that they have, and going back around the same mountain, if you will, but
Yeah.
move in a forward motion. Like stop being the victim, right? You're
Yeah.
you're not the victim. Like it's not. And I don't know how to necessarily address it, but it burdens me and it troubles me, man, because it's like,
I'll never forget the first time I got called self-righteous and judgmental. Like, like it's like, do you know the life I just came out of? like, like, I'm sorry, Steve. I don't want to shoot mess with you anymore. And if that makes me
right,
self-righteous and
right,
judgmental, then
right,
it is what it is, man. You're just gonna have to believe that.
yeah,
It's like I just never. And I don't understand. And I understand part of it is like there's still deception, there's still darkness. And it's so like any type of stand for righteousness, people want to like pull up all of your old past and they want to remind you of your failures and all of that. And it's like you're the last person that has to remind me how bad of a person I was.